What's up, guys? It's Automotive Anonymous, and that is the 2023 Mazda CX-5 Carbon Edition. Generously borrowed by Goody Mazda in Southern Idaho. I'll link it below because they're good people to work with. Check it out if you're interested. Otherwise, what we're going to do is a walk around, go through the specs, driving impressions, 0 to 60, and final thoughts to see if this Carbon Edition CX-5 is worth your time and money. Right off the bat, the base model CX-5 starts at about $26,000 and change, but the Carbon Edition is the fourth of the 8 trim levels. It starts at about $31,000. We're now in the 7th year of the 2nd generation of the CX-5. These are really good vehicles. They're a high seller. In fact, Mazda sold about 168,000 of these in 2021 and over 3 million globally. They're about 15 feet long, 5.5 feet tall, 6 feet wide. There's 7.6 inches of ground clearance on the non-turbo and 7.9 inches on the turbo. And they weigh 3,300 to 3,800 pounds depending on how it's spec'd, which happens to be about the same as 2 Ashire dairy farm cows, if you're wondering. This one has the 2.5 Sky Active engine. We'll get to that soon. It's rated for 24 city, 30 highway, so with a 15-gallon tank, you can get up to about 450 on the highway. It's a top safety pick plus, so you have a lot of cool features such as adaptive cruise, blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, a bunch of airbags and LEDs, making it that top safety pick plus. And let's get to the tires, and then we'll go inside the cab and see what it looks like. It's a 225/55/19, and those wheels look very good. Black painted mirror caps with turn signals. We've been locked out. This is the key if you guys were wondering. All the buttons are on the side. Black on the door cards, red stitching throughout. A little bit of a rubberized storage space there. Really nice opening for this size of vehicle. I'd say that's a large storage container, because otherwise, what else could you fit? You have the speaker right there. There's not much else, and it has a nice bellowed out wide opening. And then there it is. There is the red leather interior on this Carbon Edition. It's not often you get red leather interior unless someone spilt a big bowl of fruit punch, or there was maybe some horrifying accident, maybe due to spilling a big bowl of punch. But for under 50 grand, you don't really see that. So Mazda keeping this in the low 30s with red leather, what a cool option. You just don't see that in today's time. Memory seats for 2 people, power seat options, gas door, hood release, more options. You'd have fuller on a higher premium or turbo model. Fires right up and has a pretty basic layout for Mazda, nothing too fancy, no extra clusters and settings to go through on this one. Mazda steering wheel looks good. You have your volume controls and phone settings on the left. You have your cruise, on, off, cancel, adaptive settings on the other side. You have the Mazda screen. Is it touch? It's not touch, but it is controlled by the scrolly dial, which is a nice setting. Mazda does a good job with that infotainment setting. Over here we do have heated seats. We have manual buttons and dials for all the HVAC. We have a 12 volt. We have a nice storage cubby down here. You could easily fit, I don't know, maybe 2 cups of Cheerios poured out, or 4 phones stacked up if they're not too wide. You have park all the way down to manual mode. No paddle shifters though. That's how you're gonna bump the shifter if you want to have some fun. Sport mode or normal mode. We're going to be in sport mode. It just adds a little sport above the park setting right there. We of course have music, home, navigation, the back button, whatever you set up with star. The volume button, if you push it down, the screen turns off. You have the electronic parking brake, auto vehicle hold, 2 cup holders, and then you have a pretty good center console. You have a sliding lift tray. You have 2 USBs and another 12 volt, and it's fairly deep, but it is a little bit narrow. And it does feel fairly far back. Let's get behind ourselves and see how we fit. Door panel looks really good. Red stitching follows. You again have that little tray and pocket. Smaller storage. No specific bottle holder, but it does again bellow out on the CX-5, so it makes very good use of the entry, however you'd finagle things into there. Red leather follows, and holy cow, does it look good. It is the 60/40 split. That's easy to do. The seats are pretty light and easy to toss forward or back in this one. It's like the seat belt's caught. Let's fix that. Sitting behind herself at 5'11", I have plenty of room, and I can be a backseat driver, so I can say where I want to go, what I need. And I can even say, hey, open the sunroof. You didn't show me that when you were up front. Open the sunroof. You also have home garage door settings right there. Very nice feature. Otherwise, you get some vents, and you get a couple cup holders, but no heated seats back here. Instead, you have a pen tray and a notebook storage with some USBs. Let's get to the hatch. No power option on this one. For that reason, you actually get a $600 refund on this version. I'm assuming that's due to chip shortages. You have about 29 cubic feet of room the way we sit. If we drop the seats, you have closer to 59. So it's about 10 more cubic feet in the back than a Crosstrek would have, maybe 8 to 10. And then with the seats down, though, you only have about 5 more cubic feet than a Crosstrek. So that's where the CX-5 is kind of in between the Crosstrek compact size and the sub and the normal compact size. Otherwise, we just have some space behind the wheel wells. We have the floor mats that haven't been installed yet. Privacy shade, temporary spare, all the goodies to install it are just hidden away down there. And then you have a couple specific storage trays down there. They don't look waterproof. There is like a seam, but you could hide some good stuff down there. Things you want to save for later. Nice chrome trim lining the bottom of the windows. Door panel again looks very, very nice. Sort of hard touch materials, but they are comfortable. I've never sat in a modern Mazda and not felt good about it. Another matte pocket for the backpack. It looks very safe, very comfortable. If you can put a backpack back here, you can put a child back here. Maybe the other way around. If you're riding shotgun, do you have the room to hold a shotgun? You do get the nice, really big, I would call that a large door pocket. Power options. And then non-locking glove box, but it is quite big, but there's no 12 volt or anything down there. All right, let's get around and pop the hood. Let's see what that 2.5 liter, 187 horse, 186 pound-feet of torque little Mazda engine looks like, the Skyactiv. All right, guys, let's start with what we know. Air intake through the grill to cool down the radiator, go into the ducting to get to the air filter, more ducting, throttle body, and then the intake side is on the front of this transversely mounted engine. We have the battery over here. Positive terminal is right there. There's a little bit of red underneath and negative over there. Brake fluid reservoir, coolant reservoir, windshield washer reservoir. You got the alternator down there. Serpentine belt just coming off. Everything looks so shiny, so brand new right now. You have the dipstick, the 0W20 full synthetic oil fill. Of course, the shock tower braces. And then over there you can see the exhaust side. It is then connected to a 6-speed automatic transmission, which is really good, and kudos to Mazda for keeping the true automatics alive. Let's drop the hood, take it for a drive. We're going to teleport inside and get right to our initial driving impressions, and then our 0 to 60 with GPS. Initial driving impressions of the CX-5 non-turbo is that it's really good. The engine sounds great. It's very responsive. We are just in regular mode right now, not sport like we'll be for the 0 to 60. Visibility, really good. For being a little bit windy out, It doesn't really intrude into the cabin design. I have great visibility over the hood. It just kind of slants and disappears like a waterfall. Very shiny in the side windows. This paint just looks fantastic. The screen is not in my way at all. You guys are watching it from my perspective, so you can see that. You can just look right over the screen. I'm glad Mazda has that design. They're not following the bandwagon of bigger screens, touch everything, but tactile, physical buttons, and doing what the driver needs, keeping things reasonable. The armrests, they are harder if you feel them, but they're comfortable. Mazda does a good job with that. Same with the center console. Everything down here, it's right where you want it to be, easy to get to. Your arm just kind of rests and can turn the dial. Cup holders are right there. Just a fantastic design in here. It's smooth. I feel like 7.6 inches of ground clearance is enough for most people. For highway driving, going over little things, not having to unsafely swerve and get out of the way. Having all-wheel drive for wet days like today when it, you know, there's obviously snow on the ground, things like that. It just builds confidence. If you're really going to be hitting the mountains, going up the ski slopes, things like that, you'll probably want to upgrade the tires. But for the 90% of us who just drive regular commutes, going through basic city snow or highway snow, I think you're really well set up for what the factory equipment is on this trim level. But let's get to our 0 to 60. Let's see what the vehicle can do. 0 to 60 in the 23 CX-5. We are in sport mode. I'm going to brake rev it. We do have about 2,600 feet of density altitude, so the vehicle's down on power about 8% or so. It is wet outside, so keep that in mind. On our private road, we're going to see what it can do, and then I'll post a GPS graph right after. I'll verbalize the true 0 to 60 time, and then on the bottom left of the graph, you can see how it would be rated. That's the time that's without that 1 foot of rollout. Let's go. Sounds good. A little bit of wheel spin. Alright guys, true 0 to 60. It came in at 9.56 seconds, and that felt about right. The powertrain does feel good. It feels sporty, like it's been sports tuned, but that's the time, 9.56 true seconds. I'm sure without the foot of rollout, it'll be like 9.2-ish. Let's get back, do our final thoughts. Final thoughts of the CX-5 Carbon Edition is it is an incredible offering. And today's time, $32,000, really feels quite affordable for a lot of people who are looking for a new vehicle. And a vehicle that's safe, all-wheel drive, offers a lot of good features. It has freaking red leather interior. You never see that anymore. This isn't the 70s, this isn't the 80s, this isn't Grandpa's Cadillac. This is a Mazda. And I think they've done a really good job with it. Between its all-wheel drive, the ground clearance being mid-7s, the cargo capacity, all the safety features, it really offers a lot of great stuff. And I really think at the price point that this is one of the best things you can get, especially when you saw how it drove. The engine sounds good for a 4-cylinder. Don't quote me on that, but it does sound good. It feels punchy. Maybe it feels a little bit faster than it actually is, but I have no complaints with it. Unless you're needing the turbo, you live at altitude, you have the vehicle weighted down. The 2.5 non-turbo does feel decent. You're getting decent gas mileage for the vehicle, and it's just a good looking one. I do like that they kept the polymetal color reserved for this special edition. But if you guys have made it this far, please consider liking. It helps the videos get spread so more people can see them. Please comment and tell me more of what you want to see. And then subscribe, help the channel grow if you guys don't mind, if this is beneficial to you in any way. Otherwise, if you're interested in this vehicle or one of their many other Carbon Edition or other CX-5s, check out the link below. You won't be disappointed. Until next time guys, take care.